I want to organize a competition in the Dart Zone that all players can participate in, featuring unique aspects of the Dart Zone. Whether you're a looter or an aggressive player, you can join with your own style. Flexible scheduling helps relieve daily pressure. Today, I'll cover the competition format, highlights, and key tips. If everyone's interested and it seems feasible, then it'll get full support. Once implemented, please point out any shortcomings. Competitions have clear benefits, but let's discuss the downsides first. High entry barriers limit the audience. Only highly skilled players can really take part in these technical competitions. But the Dark Zone isn't just for elite players. Many others aren't top tier, but know the game well. They might have massive stashes and remain loyal players, yet they struggle to meet the technical requirements to participate. In the Dark Zone, we encourage different playstyles. Purely technical skill wouldn't showcase our unique culture. Also, competition times might conflict with other plans. If matches are Monday to Wednesday, but I'm only free Sundays, what can I do? I'd love to join and have the skills, but it's not working. Since the content differs, it's hard to show off the game's unique features. For example, things like clearing maps or fighting, honestly, many players don't care. Like, how many times do you actually check the ranking board in a season? I've been in the top 10 on the ranking board for 9 seasons in a row, and nobody even knows, right? The Harbor Storm Masters tournament focuses on fighting, so item collection is hard. For one life full clears, most players only know a few maps. Unfamiliar maps are tough for anyone. If you set fixed maps, each one has its own unique features, so it's hard to standardize the competition. Ultimately, it's about clearing maps. Some players with lower skill levels still have warehouse values in the tens of millions. They understand the game but are unable to compete. Plus, many competitions are streamed live, which is a new experience for many. Nerves might impact their play. My competition, Bounty Hunter, avoids those shortcomings. 2 tracks allow all players to join. One shows technical skill, the other game knowledge. Both are solo 10-round events. The Mercenary King track tests overall abilities like extraction and combat. As for the Bounty Hunter track, you must keep your combat gear for each round under 200,000, and it also tests your extraction, loot carried out, and big loot runs. So, how do you participate in these 2 tracks? You need to save the initial account records, and all combat information and match history must be recorded as well. Otherwise, if I join the Bounty Hunter track and extract with 10 big loot items, but my stash value drops by 2 million, does that really count as a success? That would definitely be a failure. Let me show you an example first. Let's start with the Bounty Hunter track. You can see my gear setup and talent build. With the 200,000 combat gear limit, everyone can figure out how to put together the strongest combat setup with the lowest cost and come up with more talent combinations. Everyone can learn from this. So how do you save the initial data? I'll share a detailed explanation about this later if we really decide to hold the event. The rule about solo queue is for fairness, and we'll be recording the whole process on video. That way, you won't feel as nervous with a crowd, and everyone can see your gear and talent setup and learn from your first-person perspective and strategies. There's also a strict rule. Using new accounts is not allowed. Submitting the data is indeed a bit troublesome, but if everyone is really interested in this competition and the Dark Zone supports it in the future, maybe we could directly see the performance across those 10 matches. Right now, we already have the historical gold display, and gold forming is one of the unique features of our Dark Zone. If we could have a gold leaderboard in the future, that would be even better. This competition is something everyone can participate in. If you have a strong understanding of the game, but your skills aren't top-notch, then you can join the Bounty Hunter track. If your skills are outstanding, then you can go for the King of Soldiers track. This helps prevent issues like nerves or underperforming and so on. You get to decide the timing yourself, it's just about looking at 10 consecutive matches. Some of you might be wondering, what if someone joins the Bounty Hunter track, but even though their battle prep is capped at 200,000, they insist on using 600 million? Well, don't forget, how much does the value of their warehouse increase in the end? There's actually a review standard for this. If their warehouse value ends up dropping, then points will be deducted. Right now, my idea is to determine the final score based on these 6 criteria. For example, when it comes to standout performances, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to take on a whole team by yourself. Let's say I'm in the Tomb Raider track, and I get 2 big gold items from 1 insurance run. Wouldn't that count as a highlight moment? So there are also extra points for things like that. However, both tracks are limited to classic mode only. You can't use event modes. So why not just make it regular mode? Well, think about it. If someone's drop rate in regular mode is higher than all your 10 enhanced mode runs combined, doesn't that mean their understanding of the game is really, really deep? because everyone has taken the results from 10 matches and there are no other modes in between. If someone can bring out more value and big gold items in regular mode than you can in enhanced mode, that's their skill. It just proves their game sense is better than yours. Don't worry everyone, the routes you take and so on will also be taken into account to prevent people from running into each other. Of course, if someone really does pass, there will be clear standards afterward. For example, whether there are items in your mailbox, or if you're holding onto a key with only one use left, these are all considered improper ways to boost your score. Now, overall performance in combat and other aspects is very hard to demonstrate in the bounty competition, so how can you actually improve your score? Take me for example, I try my best to run through the entire map, and when I run into people, I do fight them instead of just running away the whole time. This kind of approach is considered a comprehensive combat environment and earns you extra points. You might say, how could I possibly clear the map with only 200,000 in gear? First of all, we never required you to clear the map. Secondly, as a competent bounty hunter, how effectively you use your gear and your actual combat performance are also part of your overall abilities. You have to remember, taking risks with less to win big has always been a core feature of the Dark Zone. Of course, I do have a bit of a dilemma. For example, if I'm competing in the bounty hunter track and I loot a ton of safes in one match, does that count for extra points? Or, for example, if I use the insurance broker talent and it returns items to me, does that count for extra points? These are things we still need to discuss. So the King of Soldiers competition is pretty much the same as before, but the bounty hunter track is a brand new type of competition. The bounty hunter track is a comprehensive test, and every step of it showcases the unique features of our Dark Zone, like how to achieve the highest and strongest combat capability within a limited budget. On different maps and in different modes, how should I combine the most effective talents, the best equipment, and playstyles that suit my personal preferences, all within a limited budget, and so on. Within different and appropriate combat ranges, what tactics should I use to successfully extract in the end? At the same time, before extracting, how should I reasonably plan my tactics to maximize my score? Whether it's extracting, making highlight plays, bringing out valuable loot, or scoring big, all of these are factors we consider together. So this track is really a test of our understanding of the game. My current plan is to save all the evidence through video, keeping a record of every match from a first-person perspective, as well as all the various data that needs to be submitted later. We'll provide a detailed template example for this later on. For instance, let me show you how it's done. I'm participating in the Bounty Hunter track, so I record the entire match, including my gear, my final route, and everything I do along the way, all documented from a first-person perspective. Let's take a look at some highlight moments in terms of gameplay. For example, like what I did here, a perfect sidestep, dodging most of his bullets. As you can see, he only hit me twice, and then I managed to take him down in a close gunfight. So, does this kind of play count as extra credit? That's something for everyone to discuss. Or, for example, if I figure out that someone keeps running and running, maybe they've got a big stash in their bag, and I manage to snipe them successfully, does that count as extra credit? In my opinion, it does, because this is also a unique feature of the Dark Zone, and it fits the title of Bounty Hunter even better. No matter which track you're on, you have to save your movement path to prevent things like being detected for colliding with others. Also, all of these interfaces need to be shown in full. And along the way, if you come up with especially effective loadouts or discover all kinds of useful spots and so on, you'll get extra credit for those too. Those of us watching the competition can also learn something from it. There are definitely some requirements, like how should the entry threshold be calculated? If too many people participate, data review will definitely be really slow. So is there a way for Dark Zone to provide some data support? Also, the scoring standards for various types of data need to be stricter and clear, so that while shortcuts are prevented, every outstanding performance gets the corresponding extra points. At the moment, there isn't a clear plan yet. If you all feel there are areas that aren't perfect, feel free to discuss them.